إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أيها الناس فإن أصدق الكلام كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وأصحابه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who have attained faith, have reverence and awe for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that is worthy of who He is, of His names and attributes, of His essence, and of the bounties that He incessantly continues to bestow upon us in a way that is worthy of His beauty and majesty, and make sure we do not die except in a state of Islam, in a state of loving surrender of our spirits and souls, of our hearts and minds, of our words and deeds, of our limbs and senses, of our drives, all in loving surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma arzuqna istislaman sadiqan min qulubina lak. Ya Allah, please grant us a true, loving, sincere surrender of our hearts to you. Our hearts is what is most worthwhile, is the most praiseworthy and most valuable gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. If we lose that, whether we realize it or not, then we would lose life. We would lose the essence of why we are here in this world, my dear brothers and sisters. To have a heart that is dead in the spiritual sense is for sure much worse than having a limb that is dead or the body that is dead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and imposed upon us by His wisdom and grace and merciful love, imposed upon us that our hearts, our inner consciousness, our emotions, our feelings and our thoughts all be in loving surrender to Him Azza wa Jal. Rasuluna Mawlana sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam told us there are four kinds or three kinds of hearts. One kind of heart is a heart of a believing man or woman, qalbul mu'min. And He described it sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam as qalbun ajrad fihi sirajun yuzhir. The way He described it sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, the qalb of a true believing person, of a true mu'min, ajrad. Ajrad means completely free, empty, liberated. Inside this spiritual space, there is nothing of the created world. There is nothing of the created world that is of attachments, of inclinations, of likes, of dislikes, except, he said, فيه سراج يزهر, wherein there is a glowing light or glowing lamp. How light to penetrate it is filled with created things. Aghlaf, saturated, filled, gone, sealed. He said, that is the qalb of the kafir. That is the qalb of the unbeliever in the spiritual reality of the heart. And then he tells us also, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and there is another kind of heart. He said, وَقَلْبٌ تَمُدُّهُ مَادَّتان. Fed, another heart, fed by two sources. مادة إيمان ومادة كفر أو نفاق. فهو إلى ما غلب عليه منهما. Another heart is a heart that is fed by two sources. One source like the first one that feeds the first one, and another source like the second one that feeds the second one. One source of Iman and one source of Kufr, fed by both. Both he receives that heart, the person of that heart receives both signals, both inputs, and is receptive to both of those. And that's a sick heart. That's a sick heart. القلب المريض. فهو إلى ما غلب عليه منهما. And that heart would take the identity of either of the two sources that happened to be more dominant at the moment. Sometimes that person is like a beautiful believing person. And sometimes that person is like a kafir, wal-iyad billah, in terms of character, in terms of thoughts, in terms of emotions, in terms of words, in terms of deeds, in terms of actions, in terms of reactions, would be like one of the two, depending on whichever of the two sources happen to be more dominant at the moment. And that is called also a sick heart. It's not the first one, and it's not the worst one. It's a sick heart. Many ulama say, most of us as Muslims, they say, most of us belong to this category. Ya Latif. A long way to go. What makes a heart sick? Two very brief things, my dear sisters and brothers. الذنوب. ثانيا الغفلة. الذنوب, sins. Committing sins. The more we commit sins, the more our hearts become sicker and sicker and sicker in the spiritual sense. And Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that in the Quran, when, for example, He says, كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. That is, on account of what people have earned, their deeds, that foul and stained and sinful, disobedient deeds. Every time we commit a deed of disobedience, a word of disobedience, a sin of any sort, minor or major, he says, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, a dark spot is generated on the heart. A dark spot. It prevents light from entering in the spiritual realm. And the more we commit of dhunub, the more there are of those spots, and the more they accumulate, and the bigger they get, until there is a rain or a ran upon the heart. And he says, and that's what Allah mentions in this ayah. And when that happens, كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. Allahu Akbar. When that happens to some of us, Ya Rabbi Lutfak, then we would be disconnected from Allah Azza wa Jal, veiled from Allah Azza wa Jal. The heart does not enjoy what it means to be nearer to Allah. The heart doesn't feel what it means and the fruit, the sweet taste of obedience of Allah Azza wa Jal. The heart is veiled from connecting to Allah Azza wa Jal, and therefore from discerning the truth as truth and falsehood as falsehood. The heart will be unable to do that, is deficient in that, because of that ran and that rain. Dhunub do that. Every time we commit a dhanb, major or minor, public or private, internal inside of us or external through our eyes or tongues or ears or hands or legs and feet or sexual drives or every time we commit a dhanb in violation of the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or in violation of a right of a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's a dhanb. And that stains the heart and weakens the heart and makes the heart sick. And a sick heart is distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is deprived of connectedness with the source of life, with the source of knowledge, with the source of love, with the source of clarity. We need clarity as we navigate in this life, as we face the challenges of this life. If our hearts are not clear and see clearly, then in this life, as we face the challenges of this life, we will understand them and perceive them the wrong way, and we will react to them the wrong way because of the rain and the ran, my dear brothers and sisters. Second, to be very brief, of what makes us also prone, that is our hearts, to be sick, is al-ghafla, as it is said. Al-ghafla is in general a condition in which we are not aware of Allah Azza wa Jal. We are not in dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of some sort of dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-ghaflatu anillah. Al-ghaflatu an dhikrillah. Al-ghafla. The time I or you spend not in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, not in remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal mentally and emotionally and with our tongues. Every time we spend it like that, it's a time against us. It's a time that makes the condition of the heart deteriorate. For every time I or you am not or not in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, shaitan is unleashed. Shaitan has power over myself and yours, whether you are super intelligent or not so super intelligent. Whether you are so super knowing spiritually or not. The less dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, the more shaitani power unleashed against us. Inna shaitana jathimun ala qalbi ibn Adam. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is related to have said, verily, shaitan is ever watchful over the heart of the human being. إذا غفل وسوس وإذا ذكر الله خنس الوسواس الخناس. So he said, and thus, if the person and the heart of the person is not in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, then shaitan attacks. And if the person is in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal and that qalb, then shaitan escapes. Khanas. وهكذا all along. الغفلة عن ذكر الله. Such as الغفلة عن الدعاء. And dua is dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Being heedless and unmindful and careless and not so meticulous about being in one form or the other in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, such as to be prayerful, such as to turn to Allah Azza wa Jal in so many ways of dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, including internal reflection about what is in my heart. مراقبة أحوال قلبي مع الله عز وجل من أنجع وأنفع أنواع ذكر الله سبحانه وتعالى. That when I learn and strive to be conscious of the conditions of my heart, what goes inside of me, and watch that, and screens what goes into my heart on the basis of my awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of Tawheed, and would allow only that which the screen of Tawheed allows to enter into my heart, and screen out that which the screen of Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal does not allow. A feeling of arrogance, a feeling of ostentation, a feeling of exhilaration, a feeling of delusion, a feeling of belittling the other, feelings that go inside of us, a feeling of an attachment to something improper. Watch the feelings before they become wills and volitions, and then they become words and deeds. And of that which helps us is to implore Allah for help. Never to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least and especially in our prayers, in our dua. Even that we very infrequently do. الذنوب and al-ghafla affect the heart and make the heart sick. And a sick heart is distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thus repercussions and consequences of that in all aspects of our lives, personal and collective, economic, political, social, spiritual, of all consequences. These are the basics. These are the root causes. These are the essential elements we need to always know and be equipped with and strive to internalize and actualize in our lives. Rasuluna Mawlana sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, because in the context of the hearts, what also makes the heart fall into sickness, in addition to what we mentioned, and that would also lead us to sin, is some of us, the attachments we develop excessively or unnecessarily for the elements of this dunya. For the elements of this dunya, the legitimate elements, the illegitimate elements of this dunya goes without saying. But excessive attachment, unnecessary attachment to the elements of this world, of this dunya, contributes to the sickening of the heart and contributes to building those attachments to other than the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala, until they become independent in our hearts, in our drives from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We make them so. So Rasuluna Mawlana sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَمَا أُذَكِّرُ وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. And I do not absolve myself, for the self is indeed evil commanding. Thus I remind myself and the new. When he said sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, مَنْ كَانَتِ الْآخِرَةُ هَمَّهُ جعل الله غناه في قلبه. من كانت الآخرة همه جعل الله غناه في قلبه وجمع له شمله وأتته الدنيا وهي راغمة. الله أكبر. من كانت الآخرة همه. The one for whom, that is, whether it is a man or a woman, The one for whom akhirah, the home of the hereafter, becomes and is his or her worry and concern and objective and aim and focus. Worry, hammi inside of me. And my resolve and my himmah is towards that. Al-akhirah, the home of the hereafter. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ غِنَاهُ فِي قَلْبِهِ. Allah will make His wealth, His richness in his or her heart. جَعَلَ اللَّهُ غِنَاهُ فِي قَلْبِهِ. Allah Azza wa Jal will make the persons like that, the person's heart, rich. Allahu Akbar. The heart is rich. جعل الله غناه في قلبه فهو غني بالله عما سوى الله فقير إلى الله غني بالله عن كل خلقه. Such person is rich by Allah, with Allah, in no need of other than Allah in his or her qalb. His poverty and need is only for Allah, and the person lives it like that, feels it like that, is like that. حقيقة, شعورا, ذوقا, is like that. وجمع له شمله. And on top of that, Allah Azza wa Jal will make the matters of his life collected, unified, not dispersed and shattered. When we are dispersed inside of us and shattered, it's very painful. That's when depressions override us, and anxieties, and insecurities, and anger. When the qalb is shattered, متفرق الشمل ليس مجموع الشمل. Allah says, that person, Allah will make his inner being, his inner self, his inner self, his emotions, his feelings, his heart. يجمع الله شمله. And thirdly, he leaves it last because these two are most important. And on top of that, وَأَتَتْهُ الدُّنْيَا وَهِيَ رَاغِمَةٌ. And in other words, his or her shares of the matters of this world, legitimate matters of this world, will be granted to him, will come to him or to her despite them. In other words, imagine matters of this world don't want to come to you. Allah will impose it on them to come to you. And you are unaware of that. And you did not plan that way. You were a person whose aim is Allah and the home of the hereafter, and does what he or she needs to do of that which is necessary of al-akhdhu bil-asbab. And yet, what comes to that person is a lot more than what people usually associate with such acts of asbab and such endeavors. Because oftentimes when we want something from dunya, we can achieve it. We can achieve it by spending, let's say, an N amount of energy. But because our qalb is directed towards dunya, we spend N times 1,000 to get only the same result. But the one whose qalb is towards akhirah and Allah Azza wa Jal would spend only N amount of energy or less. And Allah would give him or her that which someone else spends 1,000 more times to get. And on top of that, what happens? Listen to the next thing. وَمَنْ كَانَتِ الدُّنْيَا هَمَّهُ يا لطيف جعل الله فقره بين عينيه. ومن كانت الدنيا همه جعل الله فقره بين عينيه. And the one amongst us who makes dunya of this world, the matters of this world, the priority, the focus, the objective, the aim. My life is all about that. This is the consequence number one. Such a person will never lose sight of his own state of poverty. Will always, as though it is put between his eyes. جعل الله فقره بين عينيه. Literally it says, Allah will make poverty in front of his eyes. Always seeing it. Haunted by that all the time. Subhanallah. That's an emotional hal. That's the hal of the qalb. That's the condition of that. Second, وَفَرَّقَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ شَمْلَهُ. Instead of being collected inside, he or she will be dispersed inside. And the consequences, my dear sisters and brothers, may Allah forgive us all, are, as I said, sometimes anxieties, depressions, restlessness, anger, high-temperedness, hopelessness, etc., etc. And thirdly, وَلَمْ يَأْتِهِ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَا قُدِّرَ لَهُ. And on top of that, that person will not have of this dunya, of the matters of this world, whether it is a billionaire or a trillionaire or a little one, will not have more of this dunya, or the matters of this dunya, than already destined for him. All those efforts, excessive efforts, are not what brought it to you. That was destined to you. But what such a person will have, may Allah protect us all and forgive us all, dispersion inside, and never lose sight of poverty and fear from poverty. My dear brothers and sisters, attachments, orientations of our hearts and minds towards the matters of this world stains the heart, makes the heart sick. It is not worth it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. اللهم اغفر لنا وتب علينا. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه طوبى للمستغفرين. Seek the forgiveness of Allah. What an excellent abode awaits those who sincerely seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. استغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. الحمد لله وكفى وصلى الله على عباده الذين اصطفى. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق معلن الحق بالحق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط الله المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم إنا ضعفاء فقو في رضاك ضعفنا. Oh Allah, we are weak. Please change our weakness into strength in what is obedience to you and in what you love. اللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا ولا إلى شيء من خلقك طرفة عين. Ya Allah, please do not entrust us to our own selves, nor to anything of your creation, even if it were for as short of a time as a blink of an eye. Ya Rabb, Ya Arham Ar-Rahimin. And rectify for us all our matters. Rectify for us our hearts. Rectify for us ourselves. Rectify for us our minds, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our drives, our eyes and how we use our eyes, our tongues and how we use our tongues, our ears and how we use our ears, our resources and might and hands and power and how we use those. Rectify all of those for us, Ya Allah. Don't entrust us to our own preferences and priorities and likes and dislikes and choices and drives, Ya Allah. اللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى شيء من خلقك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجمع قلوبنا عليك، اللهم اجمع قلوبنا عليك، اللهم اجعلنا نعبدك كأننا نراك، اللهم أكرمنا بتقواك ولا تشقنا ولا تذلنا بمعصيتك، اللهم كن لنا ولا تكن علينا، واهدنا واهد بنا، واجعلنا هادين مهديين غير ضالين ولا مضلين، لا مبدلين ولا مغيرين. يا رب فرج كروبنا، اللهم فرج كروبنا وآمن روعاتنا واستر عوراتنا وأصلح ذات بيننا وردنا إليك ردا جميلا. اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحور المنافقين والظالمين والصادين عن سبيلك في كل مكان والذين يبغونها عوجا والمفسدين. اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحورهم ونعوذ بك من شرورهم. اللهم اجعل خير أيامنا وأسعدها يوم ملقاك. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا، اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا، اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا، واجعل خير أيامنا وأسعدها يوم ملقاك. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم. قوموا إلى صلاة